Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela Chapter 14 The Childhood Pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 14. So we were reading about how Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata, they saw the symbols of uh, the symbols which are found on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. They saw them. They saw the footprints of They saw small footprints with the symbols of the Supreme Lord on the floor. And they thought, Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata thought that their Shaligram Shila is running around in the house and playing. So they were very happy. And then meanwhile, when they were discussing with each other, baby Nimai woke up and started crying for milk. So Sachimata allowed him to drink her breast milk. And at that time, she noticed on the lotus feet of the baby the same marks which she found on the floor. And immediately she called Jagannath Mishra and showed him. And Jagannath Mishra was amazed. And he privately called for Nilambar Chakravarti. And when Nilambar Chakravarti saw those marks, what did he say? That I had already ascertained this through astrological calculation and I had written it down. So now we'll continue. बत्रिश लक्षण महापुरुष भूषण ए शिशु अंगे देखी से सब लक्षण. So Isha.
There are 32 bodily marks that symptomize a great personality, and I see all those marks on the body of this child.
Yes, so I had already written down what did I see and what did I write down at the time of the appearance only, based on astrological calculation, and I saw those marks on his body. How many? 32 bodily marks. Yesterday we just saw 5 were mentioned. But like the thunderbolt and fish, like that, 5 were mentioned. But actually there are 32 bodily marks, and these signify, they symptomize a great personality. And I see, so that means when you find these 32 in any person, or even if you see some of them, you can understand this is a great person. Just for example, if someone has very long arms, so long that his arms actually touch the knees, like when you stand up, if your hands are touching your knees, that means it's a very great person. That's one symptom. So like this, there are 32 symptoms, and I see that all these 32 marks are there on the body of this child. Next. Panchadirgah Panchasukshmah Sapta Raktah Shadunnatah Trihrasva Prithu Gambhiro Dvatrimshal Lakshano Mahan. Translation. Yeah, Krishna Shish.
There are 32 bodily symptoms of a great personality. 5 of his bodily parts are large, 5 fine, 7 reddish, 6 raised, 3 small, 3 broad, and 3 grave.
Yes, and Srila Prabhupada gives the details of what are those. So, but what are these 32 marks on the body which symptomize a great personality? 32, right? So, how are these 32 divided? 5 are large. That means 5 of the bodily parts. Which parts we will see, but 5 parts are large. So, when you see this in any person, you can understand this is an extraordinary person. So 5 bodily parts are large, 5 are fine, right? They are very fine. 7 are reddish. For example, the lotus hands, like that. Reddish. 7 are reddish. 6 are raised. Raised is, for example, the chest, right? For a man, if he has a raised chest, that he's considered to be handsome. So 7 parts. Also nose. If the nose is raised, that's considered to be they're considered to be beautiful, like that. So 7 are reddish, 6 are raised, 3 are small. So earlier when you said 5 were fine, they were not small. 5 are fine, 3 are small, 3 are broad, and 3 are grave. Okay, so if we can remember, these are the 32 symptoms of a great Purusha, great personality, Mahapurusha. What are they? 5 of the bodily parts are large, 7 are fine, and then 5 are, sorry, not 7 or 5. 5 are large, 5 are fine, 7 are reddish, 6 are raised, 3 are small. So last 3 are 3, 3, 3. Okay, 3 small, 3 broad, and 3 grave. One last time. 5 are large, 5 are fine, 7 are reddish, 6 are raised, 3 are small, 3 are grave, and 3 are broad. Purport, Madhava.
The 5 large parts are the nose, arms, chin, eyes, and knees. The 5 fine parts are the skin, fingertips, teeth, hair on the body, and hair on the head. The 7 reddish parts are the eyes, soles, palms, palate, nails, and upper and lower lips. The 6 raised parts are the chest, shoulders, nails, nose, waist, and mouth. The 3 small parts are the neck, thigh, and male organ. The 3 broad parts are the waist, forehead, and chest. The 3 grave parts are the navel, voice, and existence. Altogether, these are the 32 symptoms of a good personality. This is a quotation from the
Samudrika. Okay. So the details of which parts are large, which are small. So Srila Prabhupada explains. And what is the source? Where is this information taken from? From Samudrika. So this symptomizes a Mahapurusha, a great person. What are the 5 large parts? The nose. I was thinking nose is raised, but it is the large, right? 5 large parts are the nose, the arms, chin, eyes. Yes, eyes we all know, right? Big eyes means beautiful. Eyes and knees. Okay. What are the 5 large bodily parts? Nose, arms, chin, knees, and eyes. Of course, eyes. Nose, arms, chin, eyes, and knees. These are the large parts. 5 fine parts. Fine, right? Not very thick, but really fine. What are they? are the skin. Skin is very fine, right? Fingertips are very fine. Fingertips. I wonder what that means. Fingertips are fine, like soft, fine. Okay. Teeth are also fine. Hair, okay. Hair, fine hair, we can understand. Or hair on the body and hair on the head, both. So this is also a sign of a great person. What are they? Fine parts are the skin, the fingertips, teeth, hair on the body, hair on the skin. Skin, fingertips, teeth, hair on the body, hair on the head. These are the 5 fine parts. And then the 7 reddish parts. Eyes, Krishna's eyes are reddish. His soles, his palms, palate inside the mouth, the roof of the mouth inside, right? Palate is reddish. Nails are also reddish. Upper lip and lower lip. So these are the 7 parts which are raised. I'm sorry, reddish. What are they? Eyes, palate, then you have the upper and lower lips, you have palms, you have soles, and one more. Nails. Nails are also reddish. Okay, one more time. The 7 reddish parts are eyes, the palate, upper lip and lower lip, palms, soles, and nails. 7 reddish parts. And then we have 6 raised parts. What are the 6 raised parts? The chest, of course, chest is raised. And then the shoulders are also raised. Shoulders are raised. It's interesting. It doesn't say broad shoulders. It says raised shoulders. Shoulders, nails. Nails are also raised. So nails are there in so many, right? Fine parts. Nails are counted in fine. They're also counted in the reddish, and they're also counted in the raised nails. Nose also large. For large, we have nose, but nose is also in raised. The waist is raised. So waist is after the, well, that's the hips, right? How is the waist raised? I don't know. Waist. And then the mouth is also raised. So these are the 6 parts that are raised: chest, shoulders, nails, nose, waist, and mouth. 6 parts that are raised: chest, shoulders, waist and mouth, and nose, one more, nails. 6 parts. Then 3 small parts, small. The neck is small, thighs are also small, and the male organ is also small. The neck, thighs, and the male organ, they're small. And then what are the 3 broad parts? The waist. So waist is said to be raised, and it is also broad. That is interesting. Because in the case of Lord Nrsimhadev, we see his waist is really, very thin, but chest is so broad. But yeah, so the broad parts are the waist, forehead. Yes, forehead, when it's broad, we know that's a very intelligent person. And then the chest is also broad. Yeah. So chest, forehead, and also waist. These are the 3 broad parts. And then the 3 grave parts. Grave means deep. Okay. One is navel, voice, and existence. Existence. That means their their demeanor, right? Very, very grave. So the voice is grave, and the navel is deep. Voice, navel, and also the very existence is grave. So these are the 32 marks or symptoms of a Mahapurusha, and Nilambar Chakravarti saw all these in baby Nimai. Altogether, these are the 32 symptoms of a great personality. This is a quotation from Samudrika. Next. Rasapriya. Narayanera Chinna Yukta Sri Hasta Charana. Ei Shishu Sarvaloke Koribe Tarana.
This baby has all the symptoms of Lord Narayan on his palms and soles. He will be able to deliver all of the G world.
What is this? This was already written by Nilambar Chakravarti. See, another important point here we see is that on what basis is Nilambar Chakravarti giving this conclusion? It's not simply by his feeling, or he's not simply concluding based on some rules. Based on this rule, I am concluding it's like this, right? Because Mataji attended Shastra Pramana. So this is not based on Anumana, this is not based on Pratyaksha. This is based on Shabda, based on Shastra, right? So he calculated based on the Shastra, and from that, anyone who has these symptoms, he could see, who has all these 32, then he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the whole thing is, Jagannath Mishra invited Nilambar Chakravarti to show him, I see these marks on the lotus feet of this baby. What does this mean? So he laughed and he said, I had written this down long before. Long before means he was still a baby, but at the time of birth here. And there what was written is showing. What is he showing? That these symptoms are found in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All 32 of these will be found in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Other great people, they may have some, right? A few of those, one or more of those. But this baby has all the symptoms of Lord Narayan on his palms and soles. Not only these 32 are for a great person, but also the specific symbols that are found only on the palms and soles of Lord Narayan are present in this baby. He noted it down. He will be able to deliver all the three worlds like that. So Priyanka Mataji, if you are able to read. Eita koribe Vaishnava dharmera prachar, iha hoite habe dui kulera nistar.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
This child will preach the Vaishnav cult and deliver both his maternal and paternal families.
Yes, you can read the purport for one line. Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Only Narayana himself or his bona fide representative can preach the cult of Vaishnavism or devotional service. When a Vaishnava is born, he delivers both his maternal and paternal families simultaneously.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Vaishnava, actually earlier we read in, earlier means in the beginning of Caitanya Bhagavat, before the advent of Mahaprabhu, all the devotees were taking birth, the Lord sent them. So there it is said, in whichever place a Vaishnava takes birth, what to speak of his immediate father and mother, up to a radius of 8 miles, everyone becomes delivered. Radius means all around, right? 8 miles in all different directions. Therefore, purposely these Vaishnavas, they appeared in deplorable, sinful places where there is no river Ganges flowing for the purpose of delivering all the sinful people there. So for 8 miles all around, a radius all around, everyone will be delivered. So what is it a wonder that his father's side and mother's side, everyone will become delivered? Of course not. Certainly they will be delivered. So this child will preach the Vaishnav cult. He's so great. He has all the symptoms of Lord Narayan. And what will be his activities whenever we read about an incarnation of the Lord? What do we read? Remember, 3rd chapter, 1st canto, when we read about all the incarnations. Exactly what information do they give there? They give information of his activities, what activities he's going to do, isn't it? So here also, this child has all the symptoms of Lord Narayan, but what are his activities going to be? He will preach the Vaishnava cult and he will deliver both his maternal and paternal families. That means anyone who becomes a preacher of Krishna consciousness, of course, The preacher of Krishna consciousness means he perfects his life first and then he will also deliver others, right? But anyone who does that, then all his ancestors are delivered. He doesn't have to consider that separately. So he's going to preach the Vaishnava cult and he's going to deliver his maternal and paternal families. Purport: only Narayan himself or his bona fide representative can preach the cult of Vaishnavism. Again, who can preach? Only the Lord or his bona fide representative. So then what are we doing? Are we preaching? No, we are not preaching. We are actually assisting the preacher, who is Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is the one who took all the risks and he came here. And then he, by giving us an opportunity to participate in this Leela, he's actually giving us entrance, right, into this. Because remember, we read ISKCON is also one of the branches of Chaitanya tree, and that Chaitanya tree, all the branches, they're all participating in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. And it is not that the Leela happened only when he was, manifest on this earth. It is still going on. The Sankirtan movement is the Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the real preacher is the Lord himself and his bona fide representative. And only such a person can preach the cult of Vaishnavism or devotional service. When a Vaishnava is born, he delivers both his maternal and paternal families simultaneously. Okay, I think we'll read another round because not many devotees are there. Mahotsava kara sabha bolaha brahmana aji dina bhalo koriba namakarana. Okay, so this is like really small baby, right? Still the name giving ceremony didn't happen. Yeah, who's next? Isha.
I propose to perform a name-giving ceremony. We should observe a festival and call for the brahmanas because today is very auspicious.
Yeah. So yeah, we saw the symptoms and all that. I suggest that we should do the Namakarana ceremony, right? We should observe a festival today only. Today is an auspicious day. It's a good tithi. We should have the name giving ceremony today. And again, the name will be based on his activities and his qualities, like that. So, and we should observe a festival, right? So you call the brahmanas, feed them, give them gifts, like that. Purport: Krishna Shish. It is a Vedic
It is a Vedic principle to observe a festival in connection with Narayan and Brahmanas. Giving a child a particular name is among the purificatory processes, known as Dashavidha Samskara. And on the day of such a ceremony, one should observe a festival by worshipping Narayan and distributing prasadam, chiefly among the Brahmanas.
Yeah. Like there are samskaras, some places. Sometimes it is said 16 samskaras, sometimes it is said 10 samskaras. Dashavida samskara. So one of them is the name giving ceremony. Samskaras purify the living entity. So it is a Vedic principle to observe a festival in connection with Narayan and Brahmanas. Yes, what festival should we observe? The festival should be observed in connection with Lord Narayan and Brahmanas. Yeah. So giving a child a particular name is among the purificatory processes known as Dashavida Samskaras. And on the day of such a ceremony, one should observe a festival by worshipping Narayan. That's the thing. How do you make your particular festival a spiritual festival? If in that festival you're worshipping Lord Narayan, offering him nice bhoga and distributing that prasadam to everyone, specifically to the brahmanas, then that becomes a spiritual festival. Even if it is your child's name giving ceremony or a grain ceremony, that becomes spiritual because the festival is in connection with Lord Narayan and the brahmanas. Don't ask me about birthdays. I don't know if that is a samskara. That's not mentioned as Dashavida samskara. Of course, after when the child is first born, then they do that samskara. Name giving is done, ear piercing is done, Vidyaramba is done. So these are all samskaras mentioned. And on these samskaras, you worship the Lord, cook nice feast. That's our program. Chanting, feasting, dancing. That's our festival. So we cook nice bhoga, offer to Krishna, worship Krishna, and then distribute that prasadam, and we do kirtan. That's our festival. So any samskaras we do it like that. And then certainly prasadam, we should feed prasadam to the devotees. Next, Madhava.
So November Chakravarti, Srimata, and Srimad Mishra understood from the marks on the Lord's lotus feet that Sagamaya was an ordinary child, an incarnation of Narayana. They decided that on that very same day, it was very auspicious, they should observe a festival of his name-giving ceremony. In this connection, we can particularly see how an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is ascertained by his bodily symptoms. The activities and the prediction of the Shastras. By factual evidence, a person can be accepted as an incarnation of God, not whimsically or by the works of rascals and fools. There have been many incarnations in Ganga since the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. But any impartial devotee or learned man can understand that Lord Chaitanya and Purna
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
are accepted as an incarnation of Krishna, not on the basis of popular votes but by evidence from the Shastras and bona fide scholars. It is not ordinary men who accepted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the beginning, his identity was ascertained by learned scholars like Nilambar Chakravarti, and later all his activities were confirmed by the six Goswamis, especially Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Rupa Goswami, and many other learned scholars with evidence from the Shastra. An incarnation of God is such from the very beginning of his life. It is not that by performing meditation one can become an incarnation of God all of a sudden. Such false incarnations are meant for fools and rascals, not sane men.
See, so this is so important. Many times people say that, oh, this person can do some magic or he can relieve me of my disease, so he's God. Different, so many types of incarnations are there, right? So many are there. They're not really incarnations, so-called incarnations. So how do we find out if somebody is actually an incarnation or not? Here was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But still, and Mahaprabhu himself would always never accept that. On top of his being, still he would never allow anyone to call him the Supreme Lord. Anyone called him, you are Narayana, he would close his ears. He would say, Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. No, don't say that. A living entity can never become Bhagavan. To teach us. But still, from the evidence, it was obvious, it was evident. Many important points Srila Prabhupada is bringing out here. First thing is, how can you ascertain that who is Bhagavan, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Srila Prabhupada gave 3 tests here. Yes? What are the 3 tests? First of all, it should be from his bodily symptoms. Yes, we saw the 32 bodily symptoms. All 32 bodily symptoms were present. Then his activities. The activities we will see later on. At the time of birth, you will see the bodily symptoms and also the prediction of the Shastras. So the time of his birth and the bodily symptoms, and also by the calculation, right? So you can also predict the activities. His activities means it's not that activities after you see them. You can predict the even for ordinary people you can predict, right? Horoscope means what? Ahead of time they'll tell he will do this, he will do that. So similarly, Nilambar Chakravarti, so many in Srimad Bhagavatam we read when Prithu Maharaj appeared for Parikshit Maharaj, already all the future activities are said. So that is a science. It can be known by ascertaining the time of birth and the bodily symptoms, so on and so forth. One can find out that he's a great person and what his activities will be. So based on the bodily symptoms, even Nilambar Chakravarti said, what did he say? That he's going to spread the cult of Vaishnavism and he's going to deliver both his father and mother's side. like that. So based on activities, based on the symptoms of the body, and prediction of Shastras. In Shastras, it is already said that one, in Bengal, there will be a Brahmana. The Supreme Lord will appear as one day will come when the Brahmana will be the king. Brahmana will become the king of all people. Who is that? That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, also the details are also given about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance in different places in the Shastras. Even in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangopangasya Pashadam Yagyai Sankirtana Praya Yajantihi Sumedhasaha. Right, that he will start the Sankirtan movement and how he will come, like that. It is said. So based on the prediction of Shastras, there should be a mention of this avatar of Bhagavan in the Shastra from his bodily symptoms, not that he's becoming old and he's getting grey beard and all that, and then he's still, no. Bodily symptoms, just now we saw what are the 32 bodily symptoms. Do we see that? And then also his activities. That's how. Then the other thing is, so by this you can actually, any person, so first of all, important thing is we should know Shastra. That's when we can actually testify. We can see whether, somebody is actually real or not. Another thing is, Srila Prabhupada is saying that you don't accept someone as a Supreme Lord based on, it's not ordinary people who will decide. At the very birth itself, learned persons based on the scriptures, they actually decide. They give the activities and everything. It's the horoscope is made, like in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is God from the beginning. It's not that in the middle now he will practice some yoga or something and now he got some enlightenment and now he became God. Before he was not God. No. If you look at the horoscope, that is why in Vedic culture, horoscope is made when children are born. The future activities are said. In the case of Duryodhan also, right, when he was born, it was, they could see what he will do in future. Therefore, Vidurji said, get rid of him now itself. You get rid of this child. He's going to destroy your whole dynasty. So yeah, horoscope is true. It tells about the future activities. Of course, the person who's giving that horoscope should also be, qualified. Here, Nilambar Chakravarti. So yeah, it's not some ordinary people based on their emotions or feelings. They say, like, someone is blind and they say this is Padmalochan, beautiful eyes. You can call like that out of affection, but that's not a fact. That's not a fact. So similarly, somebody can say, my child is Krishna, my child is this or that. You can say that, but that's not a fact. So it's not ordinary people who are saying that this is an incarnation. Pramanika, right? Some authentic personalities whose statement is based on scriptures. Then, and that is said in the beginning, even before you see any of his activities. That's another important point. So in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first of all, Nilambar Chakravarti, he wrote everything down, and then he already said what his activities will be. And later on, the confirmation was also coming from whom? The greatest scholars of their day, Srila Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami, materially also and also spiritually, right? The Goswamis. And of course, everything is backed by Shastric evidence. It's not just, everything, even though they are the eternal associates of the Lord, they don't make any statements which are, just when we read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see any statement Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami makes, immediately that is substantiated from Shastra. He will quote from Shastra. The evidence is always taken from Shastra. This is how important it is to understand, you cannot just accept anyone as an incarnation like that. Okay. False incarnations are meant for the fools and rascals, Srila Prabhupada is saying. They're not meant for sane men. All right. So next, Dasapriya, you read the translation and Priyanka Mataji will read the purport. Sarvalokera koribe iha dharana poshana Vishwambhara nama ihara eita karana.
In the future, this child will protect and maintain all the world. For this reason, he is to be called Vishwambhara.
So they're doing the name giving ceremony. Yes, Sachimata, Jagannath Mishra, they decided, yes, we'll do it today itself. Nilambar Chakravarti suggested, and they also agreed to do right away. So what did, and then they decide, no, Nilambar Chakravarti is the one who's giving the name also. So in the future, what is his activity? This child will protect and maintain all the world. So Vishwambhar means one who maintains everyone. So because he will protect and maintain all the world, he will be called Vishwambar. Mataji.
The Chaitanya Bhagavata confirms that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his birth, has made the whole world peaceful, as in the past Narayana protected this earth in his incarnation as Varaha. Because of his protecting and maintaining this world in the present Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is known as Vishwambara, which refers to one who feeds the entire world. The movement inaugurated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was present 500 years ago is again being propagated all over the world, and factually, we are seeing its practical results. People are being saved, protected, and maintained by this Hare Krishna movement. Thousands of followers, especially Western youths, are taking part in this Hare Krishna movement, and how safe and happy they feel can be understood from the expressions of gratitude in their hundreds and thousands of letters. The name Vishwambara is also mentioned in the Atharva Veda Samhita 3.3.16.5. Vishwambara Vishvena Ma Bharasa Pahi Swaha.
Yeah. So, yeah. Why Vishwambar? Vishwambar means one who, Srila Prabhupada is saying, one who maintains, one who feeds the entire world. Vishwa, universe, right? One who feeds the entire world is called Vishwambar. So why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Vishwambar? Simply by his birth. You saw when we read in the previous chapter, when the Lord appeared, how everyone was so blissful. They were so happy. Yes? All over, not just in Navadvip, but all over, wherever the devotees were there, they were all so happy, ecstatic, and they were giving so much charity. So they were happy themselves, but the whole world is also happy because they were giving so much charity to everyone out of happiness. So by his birth, and of course, just the Lord's appearing, what to speak of on earth, all over the universe, all the demigods, everybody was so happy. They were celebrating. So the whole world was made peaceful by his appearance, by his birth. How? Just the way the Lord protected as Varahadev, he protected the earth. Similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his appearance, he maintained the whole earth. He made everyone so peaceful and happy. That's why, because of his protecting and maintaining this world in the present Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is known as Vishwambar. And in what way? He's just at the time of his birth, we already discussed that Mahaprabhu's movement is not limited to his manifest pastimes on this earth. He is still present. He is still present, very much present as the Hare Krishna movement. When we read about the Caitanya tree, it is said the Lord himself is the tree. He is the gardener and he himself is the tree. So this Hare Krishna movement, which is spreading, this is actually the Lord himself. This is his pastime. And he is Vishwambar because he's maintaining everyone, making everyone happy. So Srila Prabhupada is saying this movement, Hare Krishna movement, which was started by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is once again, because in between for some time it went through ups and downs after the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and especially after the Goswamis also, for some time, for a couple hundred years, there was a lot of Sahajiyism that came up and all that. But again, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur once again revived that movement like that. So, and then of course Srila Prabhupada now, he brought it to the whole world. So Srila Prabhupada is saying Once again, it is propagated all over the world. The movement that started by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the whole world, that's why his name is Vishwambar. Now, once again, it is actually making the whole world so peaceful and happy. How? Through this Hare Krishna movement. People are being saved, they are protected. Just imagine when Srila Prabhupada came, what was the condition of the whole world? It was the hippie movement. Yes? Everyone was disillusioned, the younger generation. How grateful they must be feeling to Srila Prabhupada. They were completely in deep ignorance, taking to drugs and illicit sex, and completely didn't know what to do with their lives. So miserable. And Srila Prabhupada gave them such an alternative. So Prabhupada is saying, you can see in their hundreds and thousands of letters that they write, their expressions of gratitude. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the form of this Hare Krishna movement, has saved them. That is why he is Vishwambar. Vishwambar means one who maintains, one who feeds, right? And also who is making the whole world peaceful and happy. And where do we find this name Vishwambar? It's also seen in Atharva Veda Samhita. Vishwambara Vishvena Ma Bharasa Pahi Swaha. So we will end there today. Thank you, Mataji, for joining. I think I didn't realize, but they have a program at the temple. I think that's why everybody's there. But I didn't realize it. After I started, I saw, oh, something must be going on. And Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj is here Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, it's Tuesday. Yes. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.